What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be a review for Delilah season 1 episode 1. New show alert, you guys. New show alert. Y'all asked me if I was going to review it. I wasn't sure, but I said I'm gonna go ahead and review it. Let's see what happens. Okay. So this is a new show on. It is not meant to replace Greenleaf, but it is by the same producers, I believe, of Greenleaf. So this is not a replacement. It is not a sequel. It is just another show by the same people who did Greenleaf. Okay. So we have Delilah, who is a lawyer. She's a single mom. She's got a boy, a girl, and then looks like she has her nephew living with her right now. We'll get back to the nephew and that whole story. We'll get to that later on in the episode. But it looks like the nephew is been living with her temporarily, and he's going to be moving on that Sunday. So we see her waking up. We see it's a busy morning. She gets a text first thing in the morning by someone named Leah Davis saying, "Hey, I need to talk. We need to talk." You could tell by the reaction that she was not happy with the text. I couldn't tell in the beginning why, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna get there. And her daughter looks like her daughter's loves to play the violin. She's playing the violin while her mother's braiding her hair. She's got a son who, he's probably 13, 14, preteen, teenage, early teenage years kind of situation. Now, Delilah looks like she has her own practice. I'm not saying look like she does. And Delilah, listen, before I go any further, let me say this before I forget. Somebody that's in the prop department for the show, Delilah, the stylist, the prop department, Delilah, please, if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, can I have that purse? Baby, that purse that Delilah is carrying in this episode is everything. It is so cute. I'm saying y'all not using it no more. Y'all done filmed these episodes. She gonna be carrying another purse next week. Go send it to me. I'll give you my address. Inbox me. Moving on. So we see her on the phone with her, I guess her assistant or her office manager, secretary, and she's saying, "Listen, we got to do this, we got to do that. We can't take no more new cases. I don't have the bandwidth. I'm where I need to be. I can't accept any new cases right now. Please don't accept any new cases on my behalf." She said, "You have an appointment with a Demetria Barnes, an informational interview. Do you want me to cancel it?" She was like, "Yeah, child, please cancel it." Then she says, "You know what? Don't cancel it. That would be rude of me. It's the last minute. She's arranged her day. I'll make it happen." We also found out that she has lunch with Tamara, who is her best friend, aka Jill Marie Jones. So she gets to her office after dropping her son off at school. She tells her son specifically not to go to a specific park after dark, which we found out later on in the episode he does exactly the opposite. She gets to her office and Leah Davis is sitting in her office waiting for her. Now, the assistant let Leah Davis go in the office because she didn't know no better. She was like, "Listen, she showed up. I didn't know what you want me to do with her." So she goes in and come to find out Leah Davis, they know each other. They went to school together. They not friends. They sort of frenemies. They not friends. They not enemies. They sort of, somewhere in the middle. And she says, "I need your help. I've been wrongfully terminated from my job and I need you to take my case." And she's like, "Listen, I can't take your case. First of all, I don't have it in me to take another case right now. Second of all, I don't really want to take this case. Like, it doesn't sound like something that would interest me." She said, "Listen, it's more to it than that. Like, they fired me for no reason, and they only fired me because I was asking some questions. They didn't fire me because they had a legitimate reason to fire me. There's something going on down there." And she goes on to say, "Listen, this company makes equipment for the military, and it was something hanky going on. They ended up firing their top engineer, and as a result, I was asking some questions, and they got, then they fired me because I guess I was asking too many questions or whatever." Now, so, she ends up begging her. She's like, "Listen, you are all I got. I don't know if she said, I'm all, they about to repossess my car. I'm already 2 months behind. They about to evict me." She said, "Well, I thought you just got fired." She said, "Listen, it's been a rough 2020, okay? I was already having some financial situations, and I'm in this situation." She said, "Well, listen, I can file the paperwork for them to stop your eviction. With everything going on with the pandemic, they ain't supposed to be doing no eviction. So I can do that, but that's all I can do. I can't make you any more promises about anything else, So then we see her going to lunch with Tamara, who, like I said, is Jill Marie Jones, her best friend. So they're at lunch, and that's when we get a little bit more of this background information. We find out that Tamara, that Leia is somebody they went to college with, and they weren't really friends. They knew each other. They shared a suite or dorm or whatever, and they weren't even friends. Now, on her way over to the she's telling her, girl, don't take this case. You know she ain't nothing but trouble. You know she probably lying to you. You know it's more to that story than what she's saying. Girl, don't take this case. Girl, stay away from this case. Now, while she's on her way over to lunch, she's on the phone with her ex-husband. We find out later on that he's a college professor, but he also writes books, and he's trying to get an advance on his, he's late on the child support, which is $200 a month, okay? And he's trying to get an advance on his book so that he can pay her. And she was like, it is only $200. I'm not understanding why you need an advance for $200, you know. And so you can see that there's something there. We'll get to the two of them later, but you definitely see that there's something with that relationship. Also, her daughter is playing in some sort of exhibition, and he's saying that he can't show up because he has to meet with his publisher because he's trying to get the advance. And so they're arguing about that, you know. So we see that situation with her ex-husband is contentious. So her and Jill Marie Jones, again, we see that they've been friends since college. They're both attorneys. Jill Marie Jones is dating the deputy mayor, and she's working for, like, you know, one of those, you know, Fortune 500 law firms, and she's trying to make partner. And like I said, Delilah is, she has her own practice, and, you know, she sort of takes, you know, it says she rights wrongs, you know. So back at her office, Demetria, what's her name? I say her name was Demetria Barnes, is waiting for her. And Demetria Barnes has one of those personalities that irritates you from the word go. I mean, she is irritating. And, you know, she's making little comments about the office. How big is it? You know, how small? You know, she's asking, is she normally late like this? And just, you know, all kinds of things. So they end up having a meeting. And, you know, the meeting is an informational meeting. I guess it's something that people coming out of law school do. They set up meetings with attorneys to sort of ask, you know, the ins and outs, the who's and the highs and the ups and the downs or whatever. So they do that, and it was really, at one point it was funny because she was saying how she majored in Spanish at Howard, and how she, you know, she was like, Delilah, you inspired me. Well, Miss Connolly, she called her. You inspired me to go to law school. And she was like, you know, I'm serious. You know, I went to undergrad for Spanish, and her major was something, and her minor was something else, and how she saw her on TV at a press conference, you know, for this woman who had been assaulted, and it was a big case. And, you know, Delilah was like, oh, so you're fluent in Spanish? And she said yes, and then she said this whole thing in Spanish. And Delilah didn't say nothing. She just kind of went, okay. And you got the impression that she didn't understand her. So later on in the conversation, Miss Barnes is asking for a job. And Delilah was like, listen, I can't. Like, I'm not in a position to hire anybody right now. She said, and as you said so eloquently earlier, I do have a small practice. And of course, face cracked, because you ain't know she spoke Spanish, and so you was talking shit in Spanish, not knowing she understood what you were saying. But she basically told her, listen, I can appreciate it. Thank you so much, but I'm just not in a position to hire anybody right now. Like, you know, thanks but no thanks, you know. And she says, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I'm positive, thank you. So then we see her daughter she's talking with her friend, and she's talking about how nervous she is to begin. I think her daughter's name is Nia. Nervous she is for this exhibition she has coming up. And her friend says, well, hey, you know, why don't you come and talk to my uncle? He's got some great violins for you. And she was like, girl, my mom ain't about to buy me no new violin. She was like, listen, we could just go look at them. So they get over to the violin shop, and of course it's this beautiful violin there. It's on consignment. It's $10,000, but of course it plays like a dream. And, you know, she was like, oh my goodness, you know, can we do payment arrangements or something? And he was like, no, this is on consignment. I can't make any type of payment arrangements. And she said, well, can I just borrow it for my exhibition? He was like, yeah, nah, because if you do something to it, I'm on the hook because again, it's not my property. It's on consignment. I ain't got it insured. And so of course she's disappointed, and she later on that night asked her mom about it. Her mama was like, that's not gonna happen. She said, you have a perfectly good violin. You got to make it do what it do. She said, I could probably do tops 2,500 on a new violin, but 10,000, no ma'am. That is just not where we are. No ma'am. So then we see Delilah talking to her investigator, and she's asking her investigator to do some research on this Leah Daniels person. She said, listen, she wants me to take her case. It's sort of interesting, but at the end of the day, I need some more information because I know she's not being upfront with me. And he ends up letting her know, listen, yeah, it definitely is more to it. There was a domestic disturbance where, Leah was over at her CEO's house. Obviously, it seemed like they were having some sort of an affair. And that's kind of what, that's what she got fired for. Like, it wasn't as innocent as she's trying to make it out to be. So she goes over to Leah's house with the paperwork, for the eviction. And she says, listen, I can't take your case because you lied to me. Like, you told me it was about A, B, and C, but it's about 1, 2, and 3. And Leah was like, well, that's okay, because they're going to pay me, they're going to give me a settlement. All I need to do is sign this settlement agreement they sent over. And she was like, what settlement agreement? And she was like, well, it's the one right here. And child, they want her to turn over her laptops, the passwords to her social media. They want her all kinds of stuff. And she was like, well, why would they want your social media? Like, why would they want that? Leah was like, girl, I don't care. I can start a new Instagram. I don't care. They can have it. They're going to pay me. Like, I don't care. She said, listen, can you hold off for 24 hours? She said, oh no, they said I need to sign this by the end of the day. She said, I promise you, if they want this bad enough, they'll wait another day. Give me 24 hours. Let me try to reach out to this Shay guy you were telling me about. That's the engineer I was telling y'all about. Let me talk to him because now it's starting to smell fishy. Because why are they so concerned about you turning over your social media and all this information? It's starting to sound a little fishy. Here's here's the information that's going to stop the eviction. Give me 24 hours. Give me 24 hours before you make a hard decision about this. And she was like, all right, I guess I can wait, 24 hours. And you always got to be nervous when somebody tell you, don't call an attorney. Because they told her, you don't need to get your attorney to look over it. So we're having family dinner. And her daughter gets mad at her because she won't buy the $2,500, the $10,000 violin. And her son actually gives her a hard time too, because like I told you, he went to the park after dark after she told him not to go to the park after dark. And he realizes that she's upset. And so you can see that he's the one that he's playing man of the house. Like, mommy's upset. I want to make mommy happy again, And so he starts singing and dancing, and it makes her laugh, and they have a moment. Well, Dion, her nephew, and he's probably like maybe 5 or 6 years old, little baby, he's cute. He gets upset and he goes upstairs. And you could tell he's probably sad because he